Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be working again from Rodney Scott's World of Barbecue, and we're finally making something that is actually kind of a barbecue recipe. But we're going to be making Rodney's wings. And the first thing we need to do is to process, I got whole wings, which is sort of what he he calls for wings split into drumettes and flats. You can keep the wingtip attached or not. That's up to you. I'm going to cut it off because I don't want to have to deal with it because it just makes everything a little more difficult to deal with on the grill, and everything you do, it's just hard to get a good cook on it with that pointy bit, and it's not really good to eat. But I am going to throw it in a bag, put it in my freezer, and use it for chicken stock whenever I have enough. So I put all of my backs and wingtips and any sort of bones that I have that I cut off my chickens into a bag. And eventually when I have enough, I make chicken stock. So, and I'm so happy. I just got a digital pressure canner and I'm going to can some stock. I'm so excited because it takes up so much room in the freezer. Anyway, so what I'm about to do is to cut these into drumettes and flats. And you're supposed to sort of dry them off. They've been sitting on this. It's going to be fine, whatever. So I don't usually bother being really precise about this and just use my knife and cut it. It'll cut a bone. But if you get it in the right spot, it's easier. So there we go. And I'm going to do that 8 times because I think I have about 8 wings. Finally done cutting up all my chicken. And now it's time to add the rub. And for this, and he says he uses this on like everything, we're using his rib rub. So we've made that already. Should be able to see that up here. I don't know if it's a short or what yet. We'll see what my editor decides to do with it. But I've measured out the amount. That's about a tablespoon per pound of wings. And I'm going to use about half of it at this point, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to sort of wing it. Pun not intended, but it made my camera guy laugh. Yeah, about half of it. I think we use more after. So I'm going to put a little bit on, and then I'm going to toss it around. I'm going to put some more on until I think I've done about half, just so all of the sides. Yes, this rub does have salt in it. I wouldn't say it's mostly salt, but salt is the largest ingredient. So there's no other seasoning here, just the rib rub. And that's probably a little more than half, but pretty sure he says to just put a little bit on at the end, so it'll be fine. I like them to be pretty well coated with rub. So now these need to go on a 225 to 250 degree grill or smoker. We do want this to get smoke. My husband said we could not use the smoker for this. I was completely wrong. We're going to use our grill. And sometimes he feeds it with wood coals from our outdoor fireplace. I don't know why, to get more smoke there. But there's supposed to be some smoke on this. So we're not going to smoke them for very long. He says until the smoke and rub have rendered them a deep red color, about 30 minutes. That seems like not long enough, but we will see. Yeah, that's not, it's not going to be completely cooked at that point because we still are going to, after that, fry them in here. So I'm not sure exactly if 30 minutes is going to be enough. We'll check. we'll see. Anyway, so we'll see you out at the grill. So my grill has sort of a direct heat here, although it may go around. I don't know. My grill guy set it up for me. We're going to put this on the non-direct heat, and we're supposed to spread them around so that, you know, they can get a good flow between them as much as you can. But we're going to put them on and hopefully not move them, according to him. Just let them cook until they are ready. So I'm just sort of putting them down, and I guess we'll see. I'm not really too concerned about like skin side, or, I mean, there's skin on both sides really, but which side is up or down, because we're going to crisp it all up in oil in the fryer when we're done. So we don't really have to worry about crisping them up at this stage. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to put the lid on, try to keep it between 225 and 250, and keep an eye on it, but I think I won't check it until it's about 30 minutes unless something crazy is going on in here. You can kind of tell if it starts flaring up or anything, but we will see you in about 30 minutes. We'll let you know how long it takes us. It's been about 30 minutes, and I don't feel like they're getting very red. Although they do look slightly cooked, and on the underside they're a little more red, a little more cooked than, you know, the top side. But I'm not sure that it is. I don't know. I just don't know based on this recipe, because we don't have a whole lot of smoke, maybe. But we're using charcoal in a grill, and he doesn't say you have to use wood. It is definitely, I think I might turn them all over and give them another 10 minutes. I think that's what my plan is, to get both sides a little more of the heat, a little more of the, just turn them over. That's my plan right now. And let them go for another 10 minutes. And then we'll go inside and fry them. That's the plan. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes. And we'll probably see you just back in the kitchen at that point when we decide to pull these, because there's no reason to, you guys can't see all that much from over here. So that's sort of what the side on towards the heat looks like, and that's sort of what the side away from the heat looks like. So 10 more minutes. All right. Our wings just came off the grill. I don't feel like they look red and mahogany or whatever, but I think they're done enough for this. We have some oil in a cast iron skillet. Now he gives you a cup measurement for this oil, but he also says to try to make it 2 inches deep in your cast iron skillet. And the amount of oil that he says, I don't think would be 2 inches deep in a 12-inch skillet. I don't think it will even be 2 inches deep in this 10-inch skillet. But I put in, I don't know, it really feels like there's probably more like an inch in here. It's been heating for a little while. It's still not quite up to the 375 degrees it's supposed to be. But it's getting there. I think I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. It's getting there. We're above 300. So we're waiting for this to be 375 degrees. And then we are going to fry these for 2 to 3 minutes, flipping them often in batches, because you don't want them to be crowded and just sort of boil in oil. You want them to actually be frying. And when they're done, we're going to put them in this bowl, and we're going to toss them with the rest of the rub. He says just a few sprinkles of the remaining rub, but I'm just going to make sure that it all gets some. And then I'll probably put them back on there maybe once they get tossed, because everything that touched that I'm pretty sure they're done enough to be considered safe to eat. They're just not crispy and lovely like we would like to eat them. So, all right, we are up to 375. So I'm going to put, whew, now well, maybe you'll be able to hear me because of the new microphone situation, but I'm just going to keep turning these until I think the skin is crispy. And brown. We'll see how long it takes. But it looks like in this pan I can do about 6 at a time.
It's so loud.
It is.
Oh. It's all serious good.
But guess what?
You know,
I bought more.
I bought
We bought more.
both bought me one.
I'm going to call this batch done. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes. But I'm going to get them all into a big bowl. And I'm going to let this heat back up a little bit while I sprinkle. I'm going to sprinkle about, since there's going to be 3 batches, I'm going to sprinkle about 1/3 of what I have left. And toss. And that's it. No sauce for these, just this. So I'm going to move these to a plate. And get another batch in the fryer. All right, I'm going to call this batch done, and that is the end. Whew. Of my wings. I'm going to move this off of the hot element just so it cools down a little bit faster. key to this is having a very large bowl compared to the amount of wings that you have in here. But it does a good job. There we go. All right, we're going to give them a taste and let you know what we think in just a second. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make Rodney's wings from Rodney Scott's World of Barbecue. And for this, we used his rib rub, which he says he uses for almost everything. I'll make sure that's linked wherever I can, definitely in the description below. And I have to say, I thought they were delicious for a dry wing. So you only put the rub on and then you cook them and then you fry them. You smoke them and then you fry them. And then you put a little bit more of the rub on. So these are definitely more of a dry wing. I don't love to fry, but little pieces like wing pieces, if they are in pieces, if they're not whole wings themselves are awful to try to fry in a pan because they don't fit in the pan right, such that all of the pieces get cooked correctly. But that's not a problem with wings when you have cut them into pieces. If you do leave the wing tip attached, that makes it a little more difficult, but not nearly as much so as if you have all three pieces connected. Anyway, didn't love the frying, but we all really liked these wings. Would I do them like this again? I'm not sure. We would do it. I don't love the frying, but we also have been able to make wings on the grill with the crispy skin. That worked out okay as well. But apparently my cameraman, my editor, etc. would like to see these again. So I guess we will be making these again. And we have a ton of wings in the freezer, so that won't be a problem. Anyway, if you've enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this with your friends, and come back and watch me make something else next week.